Hey everybody, this is Rob over at Allen's Camera. Welcome to our webinar. Today's webinar is about the Fujifilm X-T4. And we have John Haggerty from Fuji on the other video screen there. And we are going to be open for questions throughout this whole webinar. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a Q&A. Just click on that, start typing your question. We'll field them as soon as we can and enjoy the webinar. John?
Okay, thanks, Rob. And thank you to Allen's Camera for having us here today. And here I'm going to show you, it's an overview, first look of Fuji's latest, greatest, the X-T4. So let's get started. Okay. This is sort of statements that it's a desire for all professionals, but I kind of think it's for everybody. It's fast enough to shoot sports. They've tweaked the autofocus system, so it's fast enough to shoot sports. It's ideal for portraits, for landscape photography. So it's has an A button on the shutter speed dial. You could set your aperture ring to A, so it's basically a high-end point and shoot. So it's really a camera for everybody. Okay.
And a nice and small and light too. So
yeah, it's going to be available body only, I believe, Monday, May 11th,
yep.
Body only. $16.99. Allen's is a big Fuji supporter, so run down to Allen's. I'm sure they'll be able to take care of you. They're probably taking pre-orders now, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've taken plenty of pre-orders so far.
Okay, it's going to be available also in a kit with our traditional 18 to 55 lens, which is a very outstanding lens. Hopefully you can see that. And also we're going to have it available, and this is the black with the grip, and the 16 to 80. And what's nice about this with the 16 to 80, this whole system here is completely weather resistant, because this lens is a weather resistant lens. With the traditional kit lens, the 18 to 55, it's not a weather resistant lens. So if you're going to spend a lot of time in the elements, this might be the way to go. Okay, here are some of the key features of the X-T4, and these yellow ones, the top four, are probably the biggies. We have in-body stabilization. The last camera we had that in was the XH1, and in our GFX 100 medium format camera.
And John, that is, I'm sorry, it's 6.5 stops of image stabilization.
Yes, I'm sorry, maybe I said it wrong. 5-axis, 6.5 stops in-body stabilization.
Perfect. Okay.
Our XH1 and GFX 100 are 5.5 stops in-body stabilization.
So that's
they've redesigned the shutter that it's more robust. It's actually faster. We have we've covered everybody's concerns. We have a new high capacity battery, and then we also have the full articulating flip screen. Okay. We've also had some upgrades to video and to stills.
And this camera is 15 frames a second too, so it's no slouch.
Yeah, yep, and the mechanical shutter, 30 frames a second with the electronic shutter. Weather resistant, just like the X-T2, X-T3, XH1, the GFX line. And I've taken these predecessors out in horrible weather. I've never had an issue. So that is something that's really good to have. Medium, magnesium construction, just like the other, its predecessors.
And okay. Still 425-point hybrid AF.
This is a rear view of the X-T4. It is slightly different than the X-T3. We still have the D-pad, the joystick. We've taken the Q button and we've moved it off to the side so you hit it by accident, but you can also program it to any other function button you want. We've also moved the AF button. We've changed this dial a little bit. It used to be where our metering, spot metering and evaluating mean were, so we have a switch between movie and stills. If you still want to get to your metering, spot metering, right now it's set for here, but you can program to wherever you want. They've redesigned the eyepiece, and I'll get into that a little bit in the presentation. We've changed the dial here a little bit. We've taken the video function off here, and which we've moved to here, and then we've added the HDR plus RAW mode to this, and the tilt screen. Okay, awesome. The front looks pretty much just like the X-T3. The focus levers here. Your sync cord cover is still the same. They've redesigned the straps a little bit. The lockable dials are still the same. The hot shoe but what you really notice is the grip. This is the X-T3 and the X-T4.
So it's bigger because of the battery, it looks like.
The battery and the IBIS, they had to make it a little bit bigger
Yeah.
and a little bit with the cross wiring.
Got it.
But you can see it's slightly bigger, but to be honest with you, I know it's kind of hard here, but the difference in weight and size, it's really not that much different. And when you got monster hands like me, you know, this actually feels a lot better. Yeah. So, okay. The top is identical to the X-T3. You still have your ISO, your shutter speed, your adjustable diopter that you can pull out and adjust it to your eyesight. The shutter is a lot more responsive than on the X-T3, even a little bit more responsive than the XH1. The exposure compensation dial 3, turn it to C+5, just like on its predecessors.
And have they stiffened that up also, so it doesn't turn as easy?
Yeah.
Like the 3?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. This is a layout of the camera. These three here, here, and here is the left side. So right now here we have our USB-C, which you can use as a charging port. You could tether with it, and you can also use it as a headphone jack. And what comes in the box is a little USB-C 3.5 headphone jack adapter. So if you needed to plug headphones in, you could do it right there. The top dial here is what I said. It's slightly different where they've taken the video function out and they've added the HDR plus RAW. And then on the top side here is your microphone and your remote jack, which would be.
So just to be clear, John, you can charge the battery in the camera through that port, the USB-C.
Correct.
And you also get a charger.
And I'll get into that in a second. It's a couple slides away.
Okay. I just wanted to be
they've
sure.
changed the memory
Nick
card
has
slots
a
a little
question.
bit. Excuse me?
Nick, you are able to ask your question now. Nick,
What's that,
can you
Rob?
hear me? I don't hear Nick.
I'm just gonna keep going.
I'm new at this, everybody, so please forgive.
You want to just save questions to the end, Rob?
Okay, so I do have a question here from one of our regulars named Rick, and he has a question. Is it bigger than the XH1?
No.
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 Is the answer to that.
No.
It's like basically the size of the X-T3, just a little bit thicker.
Yeah, and as I get through it, a few more slides, then I'll have the actual dimensions.
Okay.
So, but here they've changed the card slot a little bit. They're one on top of the other instead of front to back. Both are UHS 2 compatible, and for whatever reason, you can take the door off.
Okay.
Why, I don't know, but you can. Okay, here are some of the other features, Rob. It's got the same sensors, a 26.1 APS-C X-Trans CMOS 4 X Processor Pro, low light autofocus -6. It's 5-axis, 6.5 stops, in-body stabilization. We have the new shutter that I'll get into where you can shoot up to 15 frames a second in mechanical shutter.
15 is the regular, right?
What's
Yeah,
that?
30 is electronic.
Yeah. Okay. We got the new high capacity battery where you can get up to 600 shots in the body on a full charge, 1,700 shots on a single charge with the grip. Okay.
So that's both batteries and the grip.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. This is with 3 batteries.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Body and 2 in the grip.
Full tilt screen, 3-inch, just like the XT, but the resolution is higher. Okay. They've increased the resolution in the viewfinder as well. And with the boost mode to the viewfinder, and I'll get into that a little bit in the presentation, you could refresh rate up to 100 frames a second.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Even though it has the same sensor and the same processor as an X-T3, they were able to do some stuff with the wiring where they're able to improve the wide tracking and the face and eye detection. We've included clarity and tone curve that's similar to the X100V and the X Pro 3. We've added 2 auto white balance features. We have the classic neg, which is like a Superior, remember FujiFilm Superior film simulation, and the Eterna bleach bypass.
Yeah, that's
and then we
the
have
one I wanted to know about was the Eterna, which you said it's about.
Eterna was Fujifilm's cinematic motion picture film simulation, motion
which
picture
we're going
film.
to show later.
Yeah, I'll have a sample at the very end.
All right. Awesome.
We have a built-in HDR plus RAW mode. We have a multiple exposure from 2 to shots on our predecessors up to 9. Focus bracketing, where I have a sample of that in the end. Video, 4K 60 frames a second with face and eye detection. Full HD, 240 frames, 10 times slow motion. 422 10-bit to an HDMI recorder, 420 10-bit to an SD card. Okay, this is the IBIS unit. What some people didn't like about the XH1, and I love the XH1. That's the one
Yeah,
that I
it fits in my hand.
myself. You've
Really
seen me. I have it all the time. But they tweaked the actual mechanism for the X-T4, where it has new magnetic springs. So it's actually 30% smaller and 20% lighter. So you actually see it. It's really not that big. You know, the XH1 was a hefty piece of
They had
equipment.
the battery turned, I think, in a different orientation than that
Mm-hmm.
for the thicker grip, which is
Okay.
why I like the XH1.
Yeah, this is a list of I believe all our lenses are here. If not, it's most of them, with comparisons between the X-T4 and the XH1. And as you can see, most of our lenses are 6.5 stops stabilized compared to 5 on the XH1. So even the little f2 lenses, you know, these little guys here are stabilized. Our popular 16 to 55 2.8 is stabilized. A lot of our older, faster primes, everything is stabilized. Now here is a sample that I got from the factory. And on the next 2 slides, you'll see different shutter speeds. Now these are all handheld shots. So you'll be able to look through these and you can compare. So I'm gonna go to the next slide. This is at 1/25 of a second. Now you can see when I move the arrow, don't you, Rob?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay. At 1/126, and it just 1/60th, 30th, all the way down to 1/4 of a second. Now, when you compare the 2 of them, they're still pretty sharp.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, like some with some of our longer lenses, theoretically, you could probably hand hold it if you really had to. And this is a 1-second exposure handheld and a 2-second exposure. Now, I don't know what lens shot these with. I don't know, so I couldn't tell you. But you can still it is a little soft, but
It's
you
impressive.
you could still make out what it is.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, so
Very impressive. 2 seconds handheld. Come on.
Okay. The new focal plane shutter. It's got reduced shutter shock. You thought the XH1 was quiet. This is even a little bit quieter, and
Wow.
it's more durable. It's up to 300,000 actuations compared to 150, and you can shoot up to 15 frames a second with the mechanical shutter. And let me go to the next slide.
What's happening there?
And this is, let's see. Oh, I'm in video.
Oh, it's just showing the new focal plane shutter.
Yeah. Still in. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. A little snafu here. Okay. So it's actually very quiet. Okay. A new battery. It looks a lot like some of the old Canon and Nikon batteries, but the contacts are here, Rob. So they're Fuji proprietary contacts.
That looks like the higher battery from the S series. Remember S1, S2, S3?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Looks just like it.
2200 milliamps, 600 frames on a full charge, body only, and 1700 with the grip. This is with 3 batteries. Retail about $70.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's impressive from the old batteries.
So
a lot more.
You know, you could probably shoot all day on a single charge. Okay. The new grip. Okay, same price as all of our other ones, but it holds 2 of the batteries. And this is it right here. But you load it a little bit differently.
So you load a cartridge with two
Yeah.
batteries or
So
one
on
battery.
our older models, they wouldn't went in this way.
Yeah.
On this one, it goes in like that.
Aha, vertical. Okay.
Yeah. So it's got the joystick, and it's also got your boost modes here too. If you want to charge your batteries externally, we are offering an external charger, a dual charger. It has a nice LED display on it, so you can see the percentage of charges on it.
So it goes one battery at a time, it looks like?
No, you can put two in there at the same time.
No, but it'll charge one, then go to the other? Or
I
charge
believe
both
so,
at the same
yeah.
time?
Yeah,
It
it's like a
should be
sequential
one and then
process.
go to the other.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it does come, and I don't know where it is right now. This is embarrassing. It does come with the charging cable and the AC
Yeah.
charger. You can just plug it into your USB.
It looks like an Android plug,
Yeah,
like a
and it'll
standard
just plug it
Android.
directly into the camera if you wanted to go that route. Where'd it go? Let's hear a minute.
Oh, no, it's USB-C. I apologize.
Yeah, USB-C.
I see that.
Oh, here it is. This is what comes in the box.
With the charger?
This comes with it, and it comes with the USB-C cable. Plug it in, and then plug it in. But what's nice about this, Rob, is you remember with our previous models, you could charge the batteries in the grip with the AC adapter, but if you wanted to charge the battery, you had to plug it in separately via USB. If you
Yeah.
have the grip, you could charge with this, you could charge all three batteries at the same time.
Oh, wow. No
Yeah.
kidding. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
but
All three?
I would
or just the
imagine
ones in-
ProMaster is going to come out with an external charger eventually. I know you guys are ProMaster dealers, so I would imagine there's be a third-party charger available for people as well.
All right, just to be clear, isn't it just charging the two batteries in the grip, not the body?
With this?
Yeah.
No, you're charging all three, the body, the battery in the body, and the two in the grip. So you're charging all three at the same time.
And you're plugging that into the grip?
No, it plugs into the body.
Oh, the body port charges all, okay.
Yeah,
I missed that, sorry. All right, so that's good. So it charges all three at the same time.
okay. The tilt screen, as you can see here, the physical size of it is the same. Okay. The resolution is much higher, and it's a three-way tilt. So for vlogging and selfies, it's ideal. But if you're just into doing stills, you could always keep it protected. So.
Right.
Okay. The viewfinder's been upgraded a little bit. The resolution is almost 3 million dots, and it's also got 3 different boost modes. It's in the power section of the menu. You could change it. You could do low light, resolution, or frame rate. And this right here is just different, with your boost low, your resolution, and your different boost rates. Your startup times. So you could shoot up to 100 frames. The refresh rate could be as high as 100 frames a second.
Wow.
At this point, so.
That's impressive. So you should never see that wonky
No.
swish or whatever you
No,
want to call
no.
that.
Yeah. Now it's going to be
Delay.
available in black and silver. No, same price, but here are the dimensions. Like you can see, the width is slightly bigger than the X-T3. Like this is the X-T3, X-T4. You can see it's slightly fatter. Okay. It's a little bit taller, not much. I know it's kind of hard to see. I know it's difficult, but
negligible. No, you can see it.
It's slightly taller, and I don't know, it's a little bit heavier, but to be honest with you, that's negligible.
But it's smaller than the XH1, which everybody thought.
Oh
was
yeah,
big.
yeah. And it's lighter.
And it's lighter.
Okay.
In fact,
Here are some comparisons between the X-T4 and the X-T3. So the autofocus is faster. The face detection autofocus is better. The burst rate on the mechanical shutter is 15 compared to 11. Burst modes are better. The actuations on the shutter are doubled. In-body stabilization is the biggie though. And then plus the frame rates, 500 compared to 390. 1450 to 1700, depending what mode you're in, compared to 1100 with the grip.
Yeah, lag time's
Yeah.
much shorter too. Right up there with the big pro cameras.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, this is just a summary. You know, -6 on the phase detection, built-in HDR, 30 frames a second, blackout free in the viewfinder, 15 frames a second to mechanical shutter, better face and eye detection. It's got a color chrome effect, just what the GFX has. It has that, and it is the same sensor and processor as an X-T3. You know, it's the X-Trans4, 26 megapixels, X processor 4.
Oh, I thought I read that was they
Yeah,
changed that. Okay, good. Well, that's good because the 3 was real good. So,
yeah.
do we know what the availabilities are going to be of this camera? Are they going to have enough to release to everyone?
From what I understand, the organization that you guys are part of, and I don't know what you guys, you know, what Brandon's ordered, but from what I understand, the organization that you guys are part of was getting a very healthy allocation. So the bodies are gonna start shipping on Monday, start on sale on Monday, the 11th.
Yep.
Kits will be available, I would imagine, end of the month, maybe beginning of June.
Okay.
And from what I understand, and somebody did ask me this too about extra batteries. I think batteries will be available next week with the launch too, extra batteries.
Okay. And
Yeah.
grips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
doesn't look like anything's going to be delayed other than kits.
No, and you know, even with the current situation, our warehouse is shipping.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well, that's great.
yeah. Okay.
Hey,
This
John, it's Mark. You there, John?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, this is Mark Caulfield from Fuji. I work with John. I just wanted to keep in the loop with some of your questions there on X-T4. Pro is getting in a good chunk of black and silver. However, we won't be able to fill every single order at this time.
Okay.
We're doing our best to catch up. And Tim and Kim are working hard to get more allocation to you as fast as possible, but you're getting a big chunk. So I just wanted to clarify, it's not total clear sailing. I didn't want to mislead you into that.
Okay. Terrific.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you, Mark.
we're looking forward to being able to sell these.
Yeah. Yes.
Things have been a little slower than normal, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally understand. And John's right with the kids. The kids will be following.
Oh, normally I do have a mask on. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I will go back to mute.
Okay.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you, Mark. This is a sample of the improved face and eye detection. So I'm not going to really say anything. It kind of speaks for itself, but here we go. Then I'll show it one more time. Oops.
This video was made a while ago.
Yeah. Well, this is from our guy. You can just see how he just backs up and how he gets really smaller and smaller in the frame and the eye, and it still tracks his eye.
I don't know if you noticed, but when he was up close, he came a little bit towards the camera and then away like a few inches,
Yeah.
and it never lost focus or anything.
Now, this is a sample of the tracking. What's going to happen is he's going to go back and forth, and he's going to actually walk out of the frame, and you'll see what happened when he does that. So,
I'm going to guess he won't be in the frame. Is that what's going to happen?
yeah, you'll see. Yeah, he's going to walk completely out of it,
Oh,
and it picks him right up as soon as he walks back in.
it sure did.
Yeah. Now, the next slide, I think, is focus bracketing if you're doing landscapes and macro work. So it does have a built-in autofocus bracketing mode. Oh, no, I went ahead of myself. These are some of the other newer features. It's got 2 new auto white balance features. So it's got one for white and ambient light. It's got tone curve adjustments in camera. They've tweaked the in-camera processing so you could do 8-bit raw, 8 or 16-bit TIFFs. Multiple exposures up to 9, like the X-T3, X-T2, you can only do 2. It's got a built-in HDR mode with RAW. You know, you take your 3 shots and then, and then you can take them in and process them to do your HDR stuff. They've improved the noise reduction for the ISO adjustment. You can press RAW files to even smaller now, so they're even easier to work with. The color chrome effect, which is similar to the GFX.
Mm-hmm.
The battery age menu, which is similar to the GFX. And just like the X Pro 3 and the X100V, you can tweak your Q menu to make it cater to more to your taste. So you could go from like 16 boxes to 4.
Right,
you
whatever
wanted to.
your most popular things
Yep.
you want to be able to
Yeah,
access.
so you can
Yep,
tweak it even more. So
that's great.
this is a sample of the focus bracketing. See, it's ideal for macro and landscape. So it does have an auto mode for that too, or you could do it manual, but it also has an auto function to it as well. Okay, 4K video cinema, 60 frames a second. Now going back to this dial earlier, you could either switch it to movies or stills. So if, say for example, if you're in the movie mode, you'll only have access
To the movie
to
menu.
to the movie menu. So it avoids a lot of confusion. If you're in stills, you only have access
Right.
to your stills. So there's no confusion between, what was I doing? Was I in a still mode or video? So, but that's what that switch is for.
I'm being asked a question from another customer, Rick, who is a regular of ours. He's asking about the video bit depth.
I
don't have that information.
I
Rick,
don't
I'm gonna
have
to
that
get back
either.
to you on that one, buddy.
I could find that out
Oh.
though. Actually, I don't know the answer to that, but I could find out. I have an idea in my
Yeah,
head, but I'm not sure if that's the right answer. So I could check and get back to you guys on that.
Yeah, we have Rick's email. We'll get
Okay.
back.
Okay. Some of the other specs, the internal bleach bypass, and I have a simple that. Oh, 10-bit, 422, to external recorder, 10-bit 420, 400 megabits per second. The new microphone, it's got the headphone jack and the grip, or you could use this. It actually comes with this in the camera where you could, if you don't have the grip, you just plug it into the USB-C, and then you can use your headphone jack. F-Log assist, so if you want to play with film simulations or contrast, you could do that as well. 240 frames HD for 10x slow motion. The choice between MP4 or H.264. Resizable, the focusing points. Separate
That's
Q menu,
important.
but what's really nice too, you can back up your video files to one card to the other.
Oh, right from one slot to the other.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome. Great
Yeah.
feature.
Okay, we have this digital image stabilization is only available for video. We have digital image stabilization. We also have called image stabilization boost mode for handheld. If you're not panning and you just need to hold still, it is a 10% crop, but and you can turn it on and off if you want to. But this is only available for video. And I have some samples of this on the next screen, I believe. Yeah. So let me get started. This is with the image stabilization off. I'll show it with it off, on, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison. Then the next one will be side-by-side.
Oh, wow. What a difference.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Big difference.
Yeah, and then the boost mode, which is on the next slide. Oh, this is the boost mode. And again, this is if you're just standing still holding the camera shooting video and you don't have a tripod. You can see there's a little shake here.
Yeah.
And then with it on.
Wavering. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And then side by side.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Eterna, which again was Fuji cinematic film simulation, and then a sample on the next screen would be the Eterna bleach bypass. It's a low saturation, high contrast, and like I said, it was a lot of movie makers were using this back in the 70s and the 80s. And that is it in a nutshell.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope we were able to give you some information that was useful and hopefully making a purchase decision. If you have any other questions, you can certainly call us at 215-547-2841. I have to go and find the answer for Rick for that question about the video bit depth. I should have had that, and I'm sorry I didn't have it, but we will get the answer to that question. Again, thank you so much for joining us on our webinar today. My name's Rob, and please give the store a call, and thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, thanks for having us. And again, thank you, Alan's Camera. I'll give you my email address if you have any questions. It's john.haggerty, Haggerty, @fujifilm.com.
John, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for
Really
having us.
appreciate it.
All righty.
All right, goodbye, everyone.